Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to your first reading lesson of the week. I'm going to share my screen now, and let's get started. Okay, fantastic. Now, who can remember who our classes are named after? What are the authors that our classes are named after? Who can remember? See if you can write them down and what are their first names. You may remember their surname, but what are their first names? Okay, so we actually have Nick Butterworth is the author that Butterworth, my class, is named after. And then Mr. Gardner's class, Allberg, is named after Janet and Alan Allberg. And here are some of the books that they have written. So if I scroll down a little bit, you can see we've got Funny Bones, which is by Janet and Alan Allberg. The Jolly Postman, which is also by Janet and Alan. We've got After the Storm about Percy and the animals after the storm, and One Snowy Night. So Nick Butterworth writes lots of the Percy stories as well. So have a little research, have a little think, talk to your families and see if you can find any other books which are written by Janet and Alan Allberg for Allberg class and Nick Butterworth for Butterworth class. Okay, let's get on with our learning today. So today we're going to be looking at words that end in ing. Now, if we have a short vowel in a word, for example, o, a, e, I, so those letters making that sound, they're not a digraph, they're on their own, and they're making those short letters. Then if there isn't a friend with it, we have to double the consonant, then double the end letter before we add ing. If it's got a long vowel, so A, E, I, O, U, or U, then we have to check if it's got an E at the end. And if it has, we drop it. But if there's no E, we just add an ing as always. So if we look here, for example, the word cut, you can see the root word cut is there. And cut has got the sound in it, so it's a short vowel, and it's only got one consonant at the end. So we have to double it before we add ing, so it becomes cutting. And the same with stop, it's got the O sound, it's got only one P at the end, so before we add ing, we have to put another P in there. Now move, if we think of move, before it became a word, it would have been move, so M, O, V, E, so it would have been move. So we have to, it's got the oo, like a long vowel sound in it. So we're going to check it's got an E, it has got an E, so we cross it off and then we add ing. And then some here, if we look at reading, so the root word is read. Okay, it's got the E sound, so it's a long vowel. We check for an E, it hasn't got an E on the end, so we do nothing and we just add ing. So can you have a go now at reading these words, see how many you can read in a minute and see what if you can write down what any of them mean. Off you go. Pause the screen and have a go. Well done, and send any of your definitions to year2@thepalmeracademy.com and see if you can find out any words that follow this rule as well. This double the consonant, this take off the E, and this do nothing as well, and just add ing. Okay, so today we're carrying on with our retrieval skill. Okay, we're going to, again, we know what retrieval means by now. We're answering questions by picking up the answer from the text. And the questions we're going to be looking at today are true or false. So working out if an answer is true or false. And we're also going to be looking at why questions. Now, we know that when we have why at the start of a question, we've got to give a reason. So we're probably going to start with because as our answer, because something happened, and give a reason. Why did you come inside? Because it was raining. We're giving a reason for something happening today. So our steps to success are to read the question, find the key words in the question, then find the same keywords in the text. Ooh. We're going to read around the keywords to find the answer, use clues to support our reason. So it might not be really obvious our reason, but we'll use the clues that are in the text, we'll take them out and use them, and then we will write our answers today. So we're looking at things if things are true or false, and we're also going to answer why questions today as well. So I'm going to read to you. If you want to read along with me, that's absolutely fine. And off we go. Late that night, Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop heard a noise out in the living room. They found Arthur lying on the floor near the bookcase. He had piled a great many volumes. So volumes are, we call like volumes of a book, are like different books, different types of that book. So these would all be volumes. This might be volume 1, volume 2, volume 3 of the Encyclopedia Britannia on top of himself. Put some more on me, Arthur said when he saw them. Don't just stand there, help me. Mistress and Mrs. Lambchop sent him back to bed, but the next morning they spoke to Stanley. Arthur can't help being jealous, they said. What does jealous mean? What does that mean? Jealous means you want something that someone else has. So what is Arthur jealous of? What does he want? Have a little think. What does he want to be? Arthur can't help being jealous, they said. Be nice to him. You're his big brother after all. Stanley and Arthur were in the park. The day was sunny, but windy too, and many older boys were flying beautiful, enormous kites with long tails made in all the colours of the rainbow. Arthur sighed. Someday, he said, I will have a big kite, and I will win a kite flying contest and be famous like everyone else. Nobody knows who I am these days. So you can say they're beautiful, enormous kites. You can imagine that, all the colours of the rainbow. Who knows what a kite is? What is a kite? Does anyone know? So a kite is a piece of material that you put on a long string and you fly it in the air and it moves along with the wind. That's what a kite is, and they're beautiful and enormous, and they're all the colours of the rainbow. They've got long tails, which is the long piece of string at the bottom. Fantastic. Right, so today we are going to answer a couple of practice questions together, and then you're going to have a go at an independent task as well. So first question, why did Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop go into the living room? So why is our starter, so we know it's going to be a reason, a because. So why did Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop go into the living room? What are my other key words in this question? See if you can write them down. Pause if you need to. Okay. Well done. So my key words I'm also going to be looking for are Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop and going into the living room. But I want to know the reason they went into the living room. What made them go into the living room? What happened? So let's go back to our text. And there's Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop. And there's living room. See if you can read around and see why they went in the living room. Pause if you need to. Okay, I'm going to read right now and find out. Late that night, Mr. and Mrs. Lambchop heard a noise out in the living room. They found Arthur lying on the floor near the bookcase. So the reason they went into the living room was they heard a noise in there. So they heard a noise in the living room. Okay, and it was Arthur with those books on top of him, wasn't it? But they heard a noise, which is why they went into the living room. Okay, so you could have put because at the beginning, or they heard a noise in the living room. Well done if you got that right. Now, a true or false one we're going to be doing. True or false? Arthur was lying next to the washing machine. True or false? What do you think? Let's go back. Let's find our keywords Arthur and lying and see where he was lying. See if you can read. Pause the screen if you need to. Was he lying at the washing machine? Off you go. Okay, well done if you got that one. So what did you think, true or false? I'm going to put false because he wasn't lying next to the washing machine. If I read it, they found Arthur lying on the floor near the bookcase. So he wasn't lying next to the washing machine. He was lying near the bookcase. So I'm going to change that to near the bookcase. That's my right answer. Okay, well done. Fantastic. Right, okay. Let's go down the page. So the next one you're going to do is you've got another true and false one. And you're going to go through each question. So Arthur had piled books on top of him. Arthur had put the books there by accident. Arthur was feeling happy. Stanley was the younger brother. Stanley and Arthur went to the park. Work out if it's true or false. Go back over the text if you need to, and then write your answers down. Off you go. Pause. Okay, let's go through our answers and you can see if you got them right or wrong. So Arthur had piled books on top of him. That is true, he definitely had. Arthur had put the books there by accident. False, he'd meant to do it. He wanted to be flat. He wanted to put those books on him to make him feel flat. Arthur was feeling happy. No, he was feeling jealous. Stanley was the younger brother. No, the mum and dad said, you need to be nice to Arthur because you're the big brother. So that's false because Arthur is the younger brother. And Stanley and Arthur went to the park is true. They did. And they saw all the beautiful kites there. Okay, now you have got 5 why questions to answer, where you need to give me reasons. You need to look through to find the key words. Then you need to go back in the text and find out what the why answer was. So let's do the first one. Why was Arthur lying on the floor? What are my key words? Okay, right, underline them. And then let's have a little look in the text. Why was Arthur lying on the floor? Why was he lying on the floor? What would happen that made him have to lie on the floor? Pause and write your answer. Okay, well done. So if I read this, they found Arthur lying on the floor near the bookcase. He had piled a great many volumes of the Encyclopedia Britannica on top of himself. So the reason he was lying on the floor, he had books on top of him. Okay, well done if you got that one right. Next one, why do you think he had put the books on top of himself? Why did he put the books on top of himself? Have a little read. Why did he do that? Or why do you think he did that, using the clues to help you about how he was feeling and stuff like that? Pause. Okay, and the reason he had put the books on himself was to make him flat. He wanted to be like Stanley. He was jealous of Stanley. So he put the books on himself to make him flat. Okay, next one. Why was Arthur feeling jealous? So let's find that keyword jealous that I can find over here. And let's have a little read round and say, why was he feeling jealous? Or see if you can work it out using the text, why he was feeling jealous. Okay, well done. He was feeling jealous because he wanted to be like flat like Stanley. He wanted to be flat like Stanley. So he wanted to be flat like Stanley. Okay, next one. Why was the weather perfect for flying kites? What was it about the weather that made it perfect for flying kites? Remember, a kite is a piece of material on a string that needs to go in the air to move around. What was perfect about the weather? Okay, well done. And the answer you should have written is because it was windy, and kites fly beautifully in the wind. So we're going to write, it was windy. Okay, and why did Arthur want to win a kite competition? Why did he want to win a kite flying competition? Why did he want to win it? Have a little read. Why did you want to win? Pause and write down your answer. Okay, and the answer you should have put down was he wants to be famous. Nobody knows who he is like Stanley. He wanted to be famous. So we're going to put he wanted, oh, he's been a bit smaller. He wanted to be famous. Okay, so everyone would know him. Okay, well done. Right, fantastic. Well done if you got all of those questions right. That's It's really, really good learning. I'd like you now to have a little think about how Stanley's going to help his brother to make his dream come true. He wants to win a kite competition and Stanley is flat. See if you can draw a picture and label it of what you think Stanley might do to help his brother out. Have a lovely morning and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.